This is a hot cross bun gin that I made around about 3 days ago, and as you can see, the bottle is damn near empty. May not be surprising to you, but for me, I do this for a job. I have a bunch of spirits laying around. Anytime we go through a bottle this quickly, I know we're onto something really, really good. This stuff is amazing. It's not just a gimmick, and I'm going to show you exactly how I made it. How's it going, chasers? I hope you're having a kick-ass week. I'm Jesse, this is Still It, and a hot cross bun is a bun that is normally sliced, often toasted, and served normally with butter, in my case. Goes melty and gooey and delicious. It is super freaking nostalgic for me at this time of year. I don't know where you're from. Let me know if you have hot cross buns at Easter time. But my lovely wife discovered a few commercial examples of this popping up around New Zealand and suggested I give it a go. I've never tried their examples, which is actually kind of a good thing because I can make this my own without having any outside influence. Let's just make the damn thing, shall we? First of all, we need 700 mils of vodka. This is the potato vodka, the easy potato vodka I made a little while ago. It's not specifically what I would suggest using for this. Honestly, this is going to be a fairly intensely flavored gin, I hope. So the type of vodka, as long as it's good vodka, isn't going to change things so much. Of course, if you want to use store-bought vodka, you can. I'm rambling. Let's move on to what is, I would say, arguably, or actually inarguably, the most important botanical for gin, which is, there's no label on here, that was anticlimactic, juniper. And I'm going to back off a little bit with the juniper. Anytime I make a gin, basically in my mind, I start with my base gin, and I'll put a link down there for the video that has that base gin recipe in it. And I kind of, how do I put it? I adjust that. That's always my starting point when making a recipe. I adjust from that to get to where I want to be. So I'm not going to crush any of this juniper. Normally I'd crush about half of it. And I am also going to back off a little bit. So I was thinking I was going to do 20 grams, but you know what? This is 22 grams. Whatever. I should also mention that I'm 100% shooting from the hip right now. I've got an idea of what this is going to turn out to be like, but the chances of the exact recipe that I do first being, you know, optimal or correct, whatever you want to call it, are slim to none. So watch the end of the video for the update, tasting and tweaking, or check in the comments down below before you click off if you want to try this at home. All right, on to the next part of gin, which in my mind, every gin has to have coriander in it. Whoa, steady on there, big fella. And we're going with 8 grams today. I am going to lightly crack the coriander just to let the, you know, the flavor macerate correctly. Coriander is actually present in some recipes for hot cross buns. The hot cross bun side of things is going to get a little controversial potentially. Some people take their hot cross buns quite seriously. So, standard gin ingredients in some hot cross bun recipes. There's no way I can't put this in, right? Time to jump in here and say a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Into the AM. They're one of our oldest sponsor partnerships because I absolutely love their stuff. I mean, check this artwork out. How cool is that? Especially for people that are into craft spirits, right? They make a whole bunch of amazing artwork that goes onto shirts, but the shirts themselves are really good as well. Soft, comfortable, easy wearing. They have a whole bunch of new artwork out at the moment, of course, like this one. How cool is this, especially for people that are into craft spirits? But they also have new polos, and a reminder team, don't sleep on their underwear. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So if you're into any of this stuff and you're looking to pick some up, a new design, some comfy shirts, amazing underwear, check the link in the description down below, which will get you 10% off. Back to the gin. That is 8 grams of coriander, and I have misplaced, I still can't find my pestle and mortar, which is frustrating. So I'm going to do the old plastic bag trick instead. And just give it a light tappy tap tap. And in it goes. Should we get all that goodness out of there? Next up, we have another one of the inexcusable, it has to be there or it's not gin kind of ingredients, which in my mind is citrus. I'm dialing this back. We're only going with 3 grams of lemon peel today. I know these lemons look terrible, but they're grown in the backyard and they taste absolutely freaking amazing for this, I promise you. I am dialing the citrus back to 3 grams because we have something a little sneaky coming up in a little bit. We're changing things up a bit because of the hot cross bun nature of the recipe. And the last ingredient, in my opinion, that all gins really need to have is some form of root. I pontificated between Angelica root and licorice root for this recipe. If we had gone Angelica root, it probably would have added a little bit of kind of like an earthy note to the hot cross bun, which I could totally get behind for hot cross buns. But I decided to go with licorice root instead to add a, well, obviously, slightly licoricey flavor to it. I had decided that I was going to put 1 gram in, but looking at this, I'm going to bump that up to 1.3 grams, just purely based on feel. In it goes. Basically, in the end, I decided that the licorice root is going to add a little bit more sweetness and kind of tie all of this together a little bit more towards confectionery rather than savory. Maybe I'm making a mistake here. Let me know what you guys would do down there. Now we get into the part of the video where people from places where hot cross buns are quite symbolic or nostalgic for Easter may get grumpy at me. We're going to talk about ingredients for hot cross buns. Have your say in the comments down below. What of these ingredients should or should not go into hot cross buns? And am I missing some? Is there something, a specific ingredient that has to go into hot cross buns for you? I've decided to just kind of look at all of the ingredients that could go in hot cross buns and, you know, decide what I think is going to be best for the gin. Anyway, let's get on to the next ingredient, which is the reason I dropped the lemon peel down, which is sweet orange peel powder. Why am I doing orange in the first place? Yes, a lot of people do put orange in their hot cross buns. I know a lot of people find that strange. Why am I using powder instead of the real deal? Because I kind of want that jammy, marmalade-y, like baked orange peel flavor, not the super light, refreshing, zingy, fresh zest flavor. Anyway, we're going in with, where is it? Come on. 2 grams, there we go. That can go in. Next up, raisins. I feel like raisins are one of those things that you kind of just have to have in a hot cross bun. And I guess, like, unless you're doing like the chocolate hot cross bun thing, which are delicious, not as traditional, not as nostalgic, but delicious. Anyway, I am going with, what is this? 8 grams of raisins. Those can go in as well. I'm hoping for 2 things with the raisins. One is to taste a little bit like raisins, obviously, like the flavor in hot cross buns. But 2, to kind of add a little bit of fruity silkiness, and once again, push this a little bit more towards the confectionery side. Give the impression that it's more of a brandy neutral rather than a neutral, if that makes sense. Half a stick of Cassia cinnamon quill. I'm going to weigh this just so I know. Okay, it's 2.5 grams of cinnamon. Next up, nutmeg. I'm going to be using the whole version. This is one of those things where some people get weird about nutmeg in their hot cross buns, which is strange to me. I don't know, man. I really like it. I love the flavor of nutmeg in damn near anything. I am going to kind of crush this, break it up, but not pulverize it, if that makes sense. And I'm going to go for 1.2 grams. Ginger. Seems like another one of those things that people love or hate in their hot cross buns. But funnily enough, people always say mixed spice, right? And doesn't mixed spice have ginger in it? Or am I making that up? I don't know. Someone fact check me. I am specifically looking for a little bit of ginger flavor here. More specifically, I'm hoping to get that gentle warming spice. I guess it's like a halfway between a heat spice and like a flavor spice, but that general warming effect anyway. And I don't know, man. That's 2 slices and 3, almost 4 grams. Let's do 1 more, eh? All right. 6 grams. And I am going to just give it a little bit of a tap with the back of the knife, just to help release some of that gingery goodness. And last but definitely not least, allspice. Let's go with 2.5 grams of that, and we're going to give that the old plastic bag treatment as well. In it goes, and now it is time to get this plugged in, heat it up. I'm going to bring it up to about 45 degrees Celsius today, maybe 50, and we're going to let it sit for about 2 hours before distillation. And we are up and running. I'm just going to switch this over. Like always, we've taken a teensy bit off the top because botanicals get a little bit weird right at the top of distillation. And now we just get to settle in, and I guess we can play the what flavors show up when during the run game. I'm honestly very excited to taste this because I think it has huge potential. Okay. Sweetness, which I think is coming from the raisins. Definitely there is a juniper. I've got a spider hanging off my hat. A juniper presence, and the nutmeg is showing up as well. So right now, if this is all it tasted like, I would be a happy chappy. Because that does in fact taste like a juniper-y hot cross bun. But I get the feeling that there is going to be a whole lot of different flavors coming out during this run at different points in time. It's always fun, I think, and good for you, for me, as distillers, to stand here and taste it as it happens and sort of see what comes out in what order. And if nothing else, you're going to kind of learn something about distilling just through osmosis by doing this every time you run a distillation like this, especially wee ones that only take a small amount of time, which is why I love these air stills. Sorry guys, in America, we don't have them in stock at the moment. Sorry, New Zealanders, you have bought us all out again from chasethecraft.com, but we have another shipment on the way, so these things will be available very soon. It's been about 5 minutes, and funnily enough, the flavor has changed already. Not surprising. Probably the biggest thing to note is the juniper flavors changed from being kind of more on the sappy side of things to more of the berryish side of things, which is good. I like that for this gin specifically. But also we're starting to get some citrus showing up. So I'm glad that we use the, I don't have it here anymore, but that the orange powder. I think that's going to do its job in this run. None of the other baking spices are showing up yet. Nope, I don't really get anything else. Getting the coriander, that's about it right now. So we'll wait and see what comes next. Ginger. Ginger in a big way. It's doing exactly what I wanted, giving a little bit of flavor, definitely giving a warming mouthfeel. Whenever something comes in like really hard and fast and specific, I always get a little bit nervous if I've put too much in there, because right now, honestly, all I can taste is ginger. Maybe a little bit of allspice as well. But more often than not, it just kind of fades out, moves on to the next thing, and it works out. But we shall see. Honestly, I won't know until we finish this run and it's all like mixed in together. But we'll see. All right, we've moved past ginger, went through allspice, definitely allspice, and now we are into definitely heavily cinnamon. And I'm going to let this go a little bit longer. I'm always a little bit cautious about cinnamon. I've had cinnamon go really strange at the end of a run sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch out. I think we're kind of getting near the end of the run anyway. The ABV is definitely starting to drop. Actually, that's delicious cinnamon right now. I'm going to collect this just in here for a little bit, transfer it in here while I'm happy with it. I just don't want to get to the point where we're getting something really weird coming from the cinnamon that ruins everything in this jar. Okay, so that's still okay. I'm just going to put this under here so I don't spill it everywhere. Double check. Phew, that's seriously... Okay, I'm going to put half of this in there. Because this just straight up tastes like Red Hots. Like, more intense than Red Hots. Let's not waste that. And... make sure there's no chunky botanicals on there. Give this a little stir. And taste this again. I think we can do with a little bit more cinnamon in there. It would start to just taste like a cinnamon gin, I think, if we put more in there. So that may be an obvious thing to adjust in the recipe, but we'll see when we're done. And guess what? We're into the weird cinnamon. It's kind of like powdery and astringent and more like, it suddenly doesn't taste like a spice, it tastes like a piece off a plant. Obviously it is, but it's more vegetal and astringent somehow. Definitely glad that we switched over when we did, because we do not want this in there, I don't think. And I get a hunch that, all right, ABV's dropped way down. It's actually starting to go soapy now as well. So we're going to turn that off. Time to proof it down, get on to tasting. And I have a couple of ideas on how I think this is going to be absolutely delicious to drink. So let's get Erin in. She can help me out with that. Erin's found a friend.
These things are like too intelligent too. Just watching, waiting. Oh my gosh, he's totally licking his arm.
Is he licking it or is he eating something?
Why?
All right, hot cross bun gin. And, of course, some hot cross buns.
You took a bite out of it.
Yeah, I took a bite already. Home. They were hot and buttery and they're gone a little cold now.
No, I'm good.
I wanted to remind myself what they actually taste like. Have a drink.
Oh, you already made it? Oh, I didn't realize. That's so cool. It's funny, I feel like it tastes buttery too, but it's probably just in my head because I'm looking at butter on a hot cross bun.
There is something velvety, rich about it. I had a sneaky taste when I was proofing it.
I don't typically get with gin.
What do you think about the spice balance? I thought when I made this, I was going to have to make it twice because I've never made anything quite like this. And I thought I was going to have to totally redo it. Now I think, well, tell me what you think.
I think it's possibly a little bit sweet. Like it's very, did you put citrus in it? Because it tastes citrusy.
I wanted it sweet.
Yeah.
Like the raisins and the...
Or else because cinnamon can get really like me with gin.
I didn't...
cinnamon and gin is a bit...
Exactly, and I think that's why it's kind of creamy and...
Yeah, no, I don't think it's too nutmeggy at all.
Okay.
If anything, the citrus is a little bit overpowering. But
a little bit too orangey?
But I think that's nice. I think it's nice.
I think it makes it feel like baking. So I think I kind of nailed the ratios. I think there's a little bit too much nutmeg.
I don't think there's too much nutmeg.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. It's legitimately, it's awesome.
So I think it is yum, but let's face it, this is not the sort of thing we're going to sip straight, is it?
No, it's surprising that I sipped that much straight, though. It's really good.
Oh, yeah, and actually this is all Erin's research. The 2 gins that she found recommended 3 different things for mixers.
Do you have the commercial ones?
No. No, I wish I did, but no, I don't.
How dare you.
Left to right, we have ginger beer, tonic, and cola.
This barely even tastes boozy. Just slots right in with the ginger beer. That is freaking delicious. Yum. Just like tastes like hard ginger beer. It's weird with the tonic.
Put a little bit more in this because I was a bit weak on the pause and you stole some. Finger stir.
Yay. Wow, that's really good too.
I'm going to go right ahead and say
I like the ginger beer.
This isn't even in the running.
Yeah,
like this is nowhere near as good as the others. Yeah.
But also we were predicting that, so it's in our brains.
So these are both absolutely delicious. I got to say, like...
The ginger beer one's amazing. But I'm extremely prone to ginger beer.
We have a long history of
Dark,
specifically
dark and
ginger.
stormy. I thought there was beard hair in it. It was close.
I'm kind of torn because I think if I was going to choose one just to drink pure on deliciousness, it'd have to be the ginger beer. The problem with the ginger beer is that the spirit just kind of makes the ginger beer a little more complex.
Yeah.
It like turns it into a better ginger beer than it was before. Yeah?
Totally.
Whereas this really shows off the spirit, and you can taste every flavor that's in the gin in the Coke.
Yeah, totally. This is like, it's hard ginger beer, like I said. It's like hard,
You're totally
citrusy ginger beer, which is really good. It's really good though. But I would drink this for sure over the Coke.
Yeah, like this is the best hard ginger beer I've ever drank.
Yeah.
It almost tastes like, it almost starts to head towards sarsaparilla or Dr. Pepper or something like that.
Totally.
But you can...
Yeah, totally root beer. Sarsaparilla.
That's all we get here in New Zealand. And they're crap. We're going to have to make our own sometime. We're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah, that would be good.
But yeah, I can taste the nutmeg. I can taste, like, the Coke is already sitting on that kind of sultanery, sweet, pruny kind of flavor. I can taste the cinnamon. I can taste the ginger. Little hint of juniper.
People are going to think...
What, that it's still Austin whiskey?
Yes. Which is great.
Yeah.
Hello, still Austin. But you're
still
like,
Austin.
they're not going to... People are going to be like, what?
People
what
are
is
used,
with the advertising?
People are used to me just putting things in random bottles.
Well,
Surely.
yeah, I am. But
All right, so I think we can wrap this up and say that this is definitely not just a gimmick, right?
it's delicious.
Oh, this is delicious.
It's really delicious.
Absolutely delicious.
I wonder if there's a North American equivalent
Yeah.
to like these kind of flavors. I don't know, in gin. Because the hot cross bun thing is like so English.
That is
So
true.
English. I bet you there's nothing like that in the US. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't think Americans know what a hot cross bun is.
That's a good point. Like, what baked confectionery do Americans have that basically is full of mixed spice?
Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie-ish stuff. All those autumn coffees and stuff. They do. All the autumn drinks.
So in New Zealand, it'll be called hot cross gin. And in America, it'll be called basic bitch gin. Cool? All right, I think we're done. Thanks for watching, team. We'll catch you next time. See ya.